So, um, the summer after my freshman year, I spent time with my best friend's younger sister, who has autism. And I would say that before hanging out with her, I was generally had this almost like unconscious bias about people with special needs, where I thought she would be really aggressive. I had heard about her breaking my cousin's glasses. And I generally thought people with special needs were kind of aggressive, a little bit scary, definitely erratic. So when my best friend asked me if I could help babysit her sister, my kind of knee-jerk reaction was no. But in the end, I was convinced. I had nothing else to do with my summer. So I hung out with my friend and her sister. And I think that entire summer was kind of just a set of realizations for me. I started to realize that, I obviously wear hijab, and I've really been this outspoken advocate of being unbiased, unjudgmental. And I really started to realize I was doing the same thing. Like, I tell everyone you shouldn't judge others, that I hate to be judged. But here I was judging people with special needs, assuming that they'd kind of be scary, when in reality, Samantha was super lovable and honestly amazing. So yeah, that was my reality check.
Sarah used to believe that she was going to be discriminated against because of her Muslim background and her hijab, but was confronted with the fact that she was doing the same thing to her own autistic friend. She held her beliefs tight at first, and soon realized her perception of autism was wildly incorrect. Like many others, Sarah was confronted with reality that is often hard to swallow and unanticipated. Reality checks like Sarah's are by no means an uncommon experience, as we all know, but oftentimes they are far more frequent in our lives than we think, if we just open our eyes to see them. As Redmond citizens, we tend to fall into the trap of only seeing the wealth and high socioeconomic status of this area. With the presence of tech companies like Microsoft and high-performing schools, it is easy to ignore the flaws in our system as long as it benefits us. We often don't recognize the people who are left behind by our town's rapid growth, and people who find themselves in unfortunate circumstances struggle to keep up. 272 students in Lake Washington School District face homelessness. Obviously, some of our fellow students are homeless, but have you ever thought about that?
How many of your classmates do you think are homeless?
So that's when we say.
Out of what? School?
What? Oh, out of a class of 30, I would assume 1 to 2 are homeless.
Probably it's gotta be one, but not that I know of.
Double digits.
23.
Maybe 2 or 3, not many.
Probably 1 in every 20 or 30.
Yeah, that is shocking. I don't think I've asked myself that question, so I don't think I have an answer for you. I really don't know.
As you can see, this issue is one that is not talked about at all. To better understand this crisis, we met with 2 experts, Elizabeth Harrison and Linda Tappan at the Avondale Transitional Housing Center, to see how our community addresses this issue.
Who are you and what does your group do?
I am Linda, and I am a case manager here in the family shelter.
And I'm Elizabeth, and my official title is Manager of Case Management.
From your experience, how can homelessness shape a kid's life?
Homelessness cannot not cause trauma in a young person's life. If you can imagine what it's like not to know where you're going to sleep that night, or have to squeeze all the family members into a car and be cold and sleep perhaps sitting up. How can that not cause trauma? Perhaps the cause of homelessness came from domestic violence in the home, or mental illness in the home, or incarceration in the home. So it's so multifaceted, so layered, with perhaps even trauma upon trauma upon trauma.
So kiddos who have experienced significant trauma have behavioral challenges and have physical challenges. There's medical research that shows that they're more likely to have heart disease and diabetes and other chronic illnesses because of the trauma that they have experienced. So those are some of the results.
Struggles in school.
Behavioral
Work. Yes, behavioral issues.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know where you're sleeping, you're not really going to be focusing on your math problems.
Can't afford the clothes and often feel like they don't blend in well enough. I mean, we could take this a long way to say, boy, I could see how kids might feel out of the loop with their friends or perhaps embarrassed and just kind of keep to themselves and not socialize with other kids feeling different. Yeah, unfortunately that happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think the uncertainty piece, the underlying stress. I mean, everyone has stress of some variety, but stress of I don't know where we're sleeping tonight, or I feel responsible that I should probably get a job now so that I can help contribute to my family. I think those kind of stressors are more than the average student would experience.
We're wondering, would you be able to share any stories?
They're not quite your age, but they're getting there. And a family of 7 that came into homelessness. Their biggest stressor, believe it or not, even though sleeping in the car was awful and eating sandwiches every night was awful, so much so that they won't eat another sandwich ever again. 5 little ones. Established them in another school district here on the east side, and they have friends for the first time in a long, long time. The oldest in particular, when I first saw him many months ago, didn't crack a smile. And now he is so happy. And first thing he said on the first day of school was, I have a friend.
As we all know, growing up comes with its own set of challenges and struggles. But on top of that, homelessness can create its own breadth of unexpected issues that intensify everything else going on in their life. Trauma from homelessness touches every aspect of a kid's life. Even when these kids reach the age of 18 and can live on their own, their problems don't just stop. Homeless youths ages 18 to 24 still face a plethora of issues, and the driving force behind their support system is Kent Hay from the city of Redmond.
So I'm Kent Hay, I'm hours worker for the city of Redmond, and what do? There's nothing I don't do. So I work with everybody who is homeless, on the verge of becoming homeless, people who are housed, seniors, youth, families, single men, single women.
In your experience, what are some common reasons for kids becoming homeless?
It could just be family dynamics, right? It could be some kind of abuse in the home. It could be not being able to get along with your parents or siblings, or sexuality is a big thing. Some people just don't want to be at home. One of the things is when you're homeless, time disappears. There's no time, right? It's wake up, wake up, go to bed. So trying to get back into a routine. Someone tells you you have to be somewhere at 9 o'clock on an appointment, and you don't know what that means, right? You don't know what 9 o'clock is. You're making to your appointment late, and there's no gray area, and you missed your appointment. You have to make a bill appointment. People give up. I think all of you, growing up, y'all go through something, right? There's always something that's happening at home when you're arguing with your parents or whatever it is. You're trying to fit in, and you're trying to figure out what life looks like, what direction you're going, or where you fit in with your classmates and all that type of stuff. I think the more difficult part for the youth that are homeless is that some of them don't have the support system. In this community, there's a lot more wealth, and so some youth don't experience the same thing as some of the youth, because not all the youth that are here are from Redmond, right? And so they experience different things. Some come from different states, some are from different cities. That poverty was an issue.
Our next question, what would you tell people our age about this crisis?
I will tell you this, homelessness is something that's been around forever, right? So it's not going to go away. If you're not dealing with the real issues, whether it's mental health, chemical dependency, or it's providing community to someone, because most people don't have someone to fall back on, right? So not dealing with their root issues, and not, not victimizing people. Yes, people go through trauma, but not keeping them in that place, but moving them forward and understanding that there's more life to live, and then putting things in place for people to be successful and will do a better job of managing homelessness.
Kent has observed that the homelessness crisis is merely a symptom of many underlying issues in a kid's life, but we don't always have the same experiences. The city of Redmond is not alone in tackling the toughest of these issues. The Lake Washington School District is playing a key role in helping these kids get back on track. We met with Siri Bleisner, the president of the school district, to get more information.
How many at Redmond High School are homeless?
In the Redmond Learning Community, there's about 70, and at Redmond High School, there's about 18.
What does Lake Washington School District do to aid homeless kids in their education?
So we do quite a bit, and this is part of, we do, for any students who are experiencing homelessness, they're allowed to stay at their school of origin. So wherever they were attending school is where they get to go. So if they were attending here in Lake Washington, and then they were to become homeless and they're living in a different location outside of our district area, we provide transportation to bring them back to their home school. So that's a big piece. We also provide a lot of support services in which to make sure they're able to get all their needs met, both academically and socially and emotionally, to make sure they're in a good space. So there's quite a bit with that. We provide financial support, and we waive fees for sports and classes and things like that, so that they have the capacity in which to be able to participate in the schools as well.
What legislation has been passed to help this issue?
So there's several pieces of legislation. So there's the McKinney-Vento Act that took place, and that helps to provide those support services. So we have a liaison here, and they work to make sure the transportation's in place. They work to support the family. They work to help find housing if necessary. They help to do the academic pieces. So all of that's there. The other piece was just recently there was legislation passed this year, which was to enhance this program. So it actually is helping to strengthen those academic supports, get more funding available in which to be able to provide these services, and to also address the disproportionality that exists with homelessness. It tends to be more individuals of color, and trying to make sure that we provide services in the best way possible to address the needs of these individuals.
Is student homelessness considered one of the most important issues the district faces?
It is definitely an important issue for our students, and it impacts our ability for our students to be able to succeed. And I would say it is the most important. It is one of several. Our students have many different issues, and we work really hard to provide those supports across the board.
It's important to realize that kids facing homelessness are just like any other trying to find their place in the world. In order to break the stigma that makes so many feel ashamed of their circumstances, it is important that we are all informed and be conscious of others. We are all going through our own struggles, and homelessness should be treated as just another struggle in our peers' lives. Sometimes we just need a reality check to make us see beyond our own little bubble.